Howdy, howdy, gamers. What a beautiful Thursday night we have here. Welcome to VLS. It is week 6 here. We're past that halfway point, ever so closer to playoffs. Happy Pride Month to all of our LGBTQ community. We love you guys so much. And gaming is for everyone, no matter what you do, who you are, where you come from. Never forget that. Joining me on the desk today, we got the homie cute noob. Say what's up.
Hi, friends.
And also over there in the Pikachu lair, it is Becky.
Yep,
We
me and my
know.
Pikachus are here for a shocking evening for one for all, and especially for our Valorant players who we're going to be watching tonight.
Oh yes, it's going to be quite the series indeed. It's going to be the battle for second place. It is Overdose Gaming versus Humber College Esports. So we just did see Humber last week have a
Mm-hmm.
pretty dominant 2-0. We were a little shocked at how absolutely intense they were throughout the entirety of the series, and they did such a great job suppressing everybody, doing really good rotations and immaculate team play. We didn't get to see Overdose's game, but it was also a 2-0 in their series, so they're coming off of a pretty good hot streak themselves. Both teams sitting at a 3-1 mark. It's gonna be some hot games tonight, I would think.
I
Oh,
think it's going to be
absolutely.
some
Oof.
very hot games. I mean, when we saw Humber College play last week, the first game, it was like a 13-7. So it was like still a pretty decisive win for Humber, but then the second one was like a 13-2. So it felt like
Mhm.
we were seeing Humber go from like just warming up and like finding their stride because their second half of that game, they really had a dominant performance. And then their whole second game was just completely dominant. So it just was a situation where it felt like Humber kind of took a little bit of a time to warm up. Maybe their opponents also had a little bit of a time to freeze up. You know, whatever happens, happens. We all have our good and our bad days. And Humber College definitely had a good week last week, and they're hoping to continue this hot streak on through this week.
Absolutely agreed. And a fun little interesting tidbit. So both of these teams had played Cataclysm, right?
Mhm.
So Humber completely stomped, but Overdose actually lost to Cataclysm Gaming last time they met. So
Yeah,
that
pretty crazy.
that might inform a little bit of the matchup with the different styles and whatnot, or that might have just been a bad day for Overdose. We'll have to come to find out. As we are, getting everything loaded up, and I just want to pick some brains. Little zombie feast going. Let me get my chopsticks. So,
Oh, well,
could
yeah, you were talking about the whole, Catalyst Gaming and how they both played them. Just to even look at some deeper statistics, it was 13-11 for Overdose. They lost that very closely, but the fact that Humber actually beat Catalyst Gaming 13-4 on Ascent, that's like just tells me there's no shot that Ascent has to go through for Overdose. If Overdose just decides to let Ascent go through, it's going to be a world of pain for them. So I would assume that. I mean, I'm already hypothesizing about maps, but just already from that, I think definitely Ascent is not going to be a map that we're going to see. And I could speak for both of us, Becky. We're super stoked that Ascent will not show its face.
Yeah, we're not very big Ascent fans. We're not very big Haven fans. We don't want to see any of those three normal maps that we want to see a bind. We want to see a fracture. We want to even see some breeze. Like we want to see some of these newer maps, some of these maps that we don't get to see all that often. We understand they're tried and true. Y'all have been playing these maps for 2 years. Also, happy birthday to Valorant. Whatever. But they've been out for 2 years. I want to see some new stuff. I want to see some new strategies. And I want to see who's bringing the spice to the table and trying to out-sweat their opponents. That's what I want to see.
You know what? I am much in the same boat. Get rid of the ascents, bring in the fractures, give me the breeze. I'll even take icebox. In all honesty, it's just there's more variety, more challenges for these teams to overcome as we are ever inching closer to that playoff race. Um, as we do the producer notes coming in.
We
Um,
know how you feel there, Mr. Fantastic in the background. I though you love Ascent, but what I love is Split and the fact that Overdose beat PLX on Split 13-5. That's a map that they're gonna potentially, and also splits back into the map pool as well. Valorant said, "We know you love it, so we're gonna give it back to you." So it is in play, and I think that would be a good map for Overdose to go over to and show them what they got. I mean, they have a really good breach. Their breach was actually their top fragger, who was Finite. I think we agreed you were going to
yes.
call the player. I hope that's how we pronounce it, by the way. But that's kind of one of the maps. Also, Becky, we might be surprised and see a fracture as well because Overdose did absolutely phenomenal on that map as well.
That would be the best treat. It would make my week if we could see a fracture come into play. It would be like a treat for me as a viewer, and then as a caster, I'd be like, I didn't study the callouts for this map before this. I know arcade, and that's like it. So, like as a caster, I would be like, this is a little rough. But as a player and like a viewer, I would be like, this is the best thing I've seen all week. I'm stoked. Let's see it. Fracture, come on, cross my fingers. Especially, yeah, if I know that one of these teams has had success on that map, then that seems like even more of a reason. If you have a leg up on an opponent by just having a better understanding of a certain map, I don't understand why you wouldn't use that. Maybe that's like the tactical gamer in me from playing Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. If you have a better matchup because of some skills from before even going into the game, I don't see why you wouldn't use them. I'd love to see trying to really play with the map draft here as much as possible.
Definitely can agree with that. Play with it as much as possible. Get those deep strats in. Look, from one TCG player to another. I get you, girl. I get that. Maybe these players will feel the same way. Because hey, we're in week 6. Plenty of scouting has been done. You should have everything going on. You should have your deep strats going. I believe they could pull out some random picks that we haven't really talked about. I know a lot of players are starting to pick up Fade, as we have seen. I remember Humber. They had a mean Fade player who it was.
Yeah.
Next,
yeah.
I believe it was. No, yeah, no, Drip. I'm sorry,
Drip. It was Drip. Yeah, Drip. Yeah, I had the amazing Fade game, then played the amazing Sky game too, and you're just like, oh, so you're just the big brain mastermind of the team, I see, and it was just really great play. As we do see, I believe the game is in a good enough state to where there is more agent diversity that you can play in different situations, different compositions. So that's really nice to see. It's like it's. I like to think that Valorant is starting to grow to more than just the Jet Sova show.
Yeah.
So hoping to see more agent diversity as well as the map pool diversity and see these strats that these teams are pulling out. So if we were to pick in this battle of the second place head to head, Cute Noob, who do you think will be coming out on top in this one?
I'm glad that I was first. That way I don't have to be the villain of this table. So, I have to say, just from statistic wise and obviously watching them play as well, Humber looks like the better team. The only team that they've lost to is actually number 1, V.exe. They lost to them, but they lost to them in like the longest battle of all history. They actually took it to that 3rd map. They lost on Icebox, but I think based on their kind of history, they lost by like 2 rounds, which could have been like the pistol round not going their way, or maybe just like 1 round that would had to be lost, kind of type of deal. So I just from that, Humber is the golden cookie, the golden nugget, the it team.
The team, I totally get it. Becky, who are you feeling? Which team do you think really is going to bring it today?
I feel bad because last week, I don't actually remember if I said this on desk or if I said it before we went on to the desk, but you asked who I thought, and I was like, usually I don't think that college teams are all that good, because if you're picking between people that, if you're like having to pick teams that you go to or like players that you go to college with, like the pool is just smaller. Like
I remember that, yep.
It statistically makes sense that you probably aren't the stronger team. However, they immediately shut down my opinions on that by a very decisive win last week. So now that I have washed away that feeling of being upset at that prediction, this is a hard. I do think it's going to be a really close game. I do think that this is like probably one of the closest matches that we will have watched in this whole entire season so far.
Mm-hmm. I am agreeing. I'm agreeing. But you gotta pick. You gotta pick.
I gotta pick. I think I'm gonna go with Humber as well. I think based basically on the fact that, like Cute mentioned, their only loss right now is the team that is in first. So they're also on a hot streak. One of their first losses was early. They've had time to iron out the kinks. They're just gonna be in a stronger, better position, I think, and come forward with strength and win. That's my prediction. That's what I'm going with.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and be the pot stirrer. I would have.
All right, we need it. We need it.
Yeah, you have to be it.
Look, if you have a player whose name is DJ is a beast, that's that like old like RuneScape AOL username mentality that I love to see. So I'm hoping that Overdose
No,
can.
no. Okay, what was your RuneScape username?
Oh God, don't put me on the
Tell
spot like
us.
this, please.
Tell us.
Okay,
Bring it out.
I had 3 different ones,
Okay,
but
okay.
Div. Okay.
one of them I remember because it's the one I played on the most because I was a big old Kingdom Hearts kid.
Oh.
It was
Yeah.
my name backwards.
Okay, yeah.
With it was XX Lakehem underscore
Oh my god, with the XX! Oh my god, Crow!
Vanquish XX. I was one of those gamers.
Woo, chef's kiss!
it
It's
was
okay.
just-
At one point, my name was Freak Show, but it was spelled FRIIQXSH0W. So
Oh, the 0 in there? Yes.
throw in there. It's all coming together.
I'm the
It
oddball out.
explains-
I was a
explains why
late
we're here.
gamer, alright? So
Uh-huh.
I'm just
That's-
living through y'all.
Hey, it's
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
Love it.
yeah.
It's okay. RuneScape
We all
still
come
exists.
into it at different times. Yeah, and RuneScape. You want to play
Right.
RuneScape later?
Like we can hop on this. I can
Let's do
fire.
it.
I can
Why
fire.
not?
I can fire up my old AOL account right now. That's cool.
Oh my
my
god.
goodness. So
We're just having a great time here tonight.
we are, and also
And
speaking
we
of a
haven't
great
even
time,
seen gameplay.
we have the maps. We have the Zen maps.
Ooh.
And guess what? Ascent is
Please.
not on them.
Yes! That's a victory for all.
Woo!
But we still get- but
Also,
we still got
we're
Splint Hidden.
sorry to Mr. Fantastic,
I know.
but
Not really.
you know, they fixed the bug with Split, so you
Yep.
can't teleport up into the imaginary second level where
Oh,
all the
that's
bears
right,
hang
yeah.
out.
Right.
So thank goodness that they
Thank
fixed
goodness for
that. Now we can continue to be happy and safe and not assume that all Omen mains are cheating. Thank you.
I'm always cheating. You're welcome.
You heard it here first.
If you play against me, I'm cheating. I'm just kidding. Please, Valorant, don't cancel my account. I've spent too
These
much
are
money.
games. Oh yeah, I don't even look anymore. I started looking at how much, like, they used to do the thing. It was like they had time wasted on LoL, and then they would also like tell you how much money you'd spent in League of Legends.
Look,
I've never
oh my
looked at how much
goodness.
money I've spent in
Oh my
Valorant
God.
because I already know how much money I've spent on League of Legends. I don't need to know.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't add me
I'm
on
not even
that.
gonna lie. That made me cry. I'm like, can I add this? Can I do this as a tax write-off? Like,
Technically, if you're a content creator, yeah. Just an
Technically, yeah.
FYI.
we could do that. Oh man.
Like I had to. It makes me
won't-
look cool. It's part of my brand.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's why I spent those thousands of dollars. I mean,
Not because the sound makes me hit diff.
right, not because I like pretty lights and colors and gothic architecture. Yeah, it doesn't none of that.
all right. So we were mentioning. Oh, my dog just yawned too. He's very cute. He says hello to everybody who is here
Hello.
hanging out with us. So to talk more about the maps that have been
Mhm.
picked, we are not going to see the Fracture. I am disappointed, but
I'm sorry.
as far as maps that Cute Noob and I like, we're 2 for 3 here. We got the Split, and then we're gonna go into Haven, and then we're gonna go into Icebox. So
Okay.
overall, I'm pretty happy. We're getting like 2 kind of weird maps, and then we got Haven. Split is one of those that's like always like sometimes the little zinger thrown. It and Icebox are like the I don't want to say stepchildren because that sounds kind of mean, but they kind of are, or like they're like the
Yeah.
cousins that you like see every once in a while, but like
That
not very
sometimes
often.
they're cool or sometimes
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Exactly. And it looks like we will be starting off exactly the same with Humber College on defense for every single one of these maps. And we know that Humber College played on Haven last week when we watched, and that was the map that they actually went 13-2 on.
2 on, yeah.
So certainly would be putting Humber College in favor on Haven. A Split, I think, it's a little bit more anyone's game. That's a little bit more of an unpredictable map, just to begin with. And I think that Humber College definitely had some interesting pickups. They were the type of people who were picking up Fade kind of early on. And so I think that they're certainly a team that is going to come with some interesting team compositions, to say the least. And I'm excited to see what they're going to bring, and if Cute Noob and I's predictions are going to be right.
Yes, it's all about them predictions. Are we getting them right? We getting them wrong? I mean, sometimes you got to go with your gut over your head, and
Hmm.
it's going to be a fun game regardless. I do feel like this might be a three map series, with how strong both of these teams have been playing the past few weeks. Hey, like you said, somebody might be on one today and just completely pop off and get another 2-0. So we'll
I feel
have to.
like that's kind of been the name of the game for this
Yeah.
series is when every once in a while we've just been like really surprised and one team just completely like goes nuts, goes crazy. And it'll be like one person too. And then it'll only be for one game. Like we'll
Yeah.
play like we'll watch like one game,
I
one
know.
player will just like go completely nuts and we're like, "Wow, they're the best player ever." And then they're bottom of the board for the next one and we're like, "What just happened?" Wait,
Hello?
my dog is also asking what just happened. I don't know if you can see his little snoot as it
I see
pops
We
up
this.
in this
can't.
corner
Oh,
here,
yeah,
but
yeah, we see.
yeah.
Oh.
He's like, "What's up?" I'm here to give my opinions on Valorant as well. All right, we are getting our players in their little gamer chairs, making sure that everybody is all situated. Any final? I don't know why I just like took over for Crow here, but
Your host coming through. Crow.
the little bit of
Crow.
my brain that was
I
like, all
know.
right, we gotta let's rail this back. Like with the train was off the tracks, so let's get back on. Okay, come on.
Sorry, I
I
was
think to
waiting for
get the
confirmation
train,
from all players.
it's okay. I think the train to keep on track and just to, even going off of what you were saying, Becky, which is the players that we want to see pop off on either team, right? For me, on Overdose, it's going to be Finite, right? Are they going to be able to be that breach top fragger that they were previously when they played against PLX with that combat score of 326? Is
That's
that going
big.
to live up to par? Or are we going to look over to Humber, who mainly it's between Nyx and Drip? If I'm being honest, Drip and Nyx are the ones that are constantly on that top fragging position. Again, we haven't seen Humber on Split, at least from the research that I've done. So I don't know how well and how prepared they're going to be for it. But Nyx or Drip are mine. What about you, Becky?
Yeah, I believe that we crowned Nick's MVP last week on that chamber was one of the players getting
Yeah.
just first blood after first blood. And we
Yeah.
wasn't like top of the board in the
He
first
was.
game,
Yeah.
but was doing pretty good. And then we went into the next game and it was
Second
just the
game,
Knicks show. Yeah,
on fire. On
exactly.
fire.
And it was just like crazy. And we were like, oh, this is a pretty easy decision. Just give it over to Knicks. And I mean, like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what you want the chamber to be doing. You want to be utilizing getting a little up close and personal in the early rounds and then using that rendezvous to get away to safety. I mean, that's the big reason that we're seeing chamber. And that was a big reason that we were seeing Jet for the longest time really picked up and something that is just such a pivotal and important part of Valorant in the meta right now. So it
Absolutely.
just makes sense. Just makes sense.
Just
All
makes
things considered.
just makes sense indeed. Also, what makes sense is our players are ready to rock. We are gonna get into this right now. I'll be stepping away. My ladies, get ready to rock and roll. And yay, I've done enough talking. I'm leaving it to
All
y'all now.
right. All right.
He's like, I'm ready to dip. I'm outie 5,000. And with that, whoa, look at that transition. That was so beautiful. I
Woo!
love
Chef
that.
kiss. Look, and now it is just us, some Valorant players, and my Pikachus.
Ooh,
Uh,
we love that
Thank
Pikachu's.
you. Aren't they so cute? Thank you so much, Crow, for bringing us into this. And just like that, Overdose already has a extremely swift lock-in coming in here.
Oh.
I actually am very excited to see the Neon. I have started to see a lot of relabel lineups and a lot of people kind of finally figuring out where and how to use that ability on Neon. And as a result of it, we are kind of seeing it be picked up in place of the Jet. I do think that I'm a little more used to seeing somebody like Mikey was hovering the Rays, and I think that that's a little bit more of a typical pick on this map. So I will be impressed. I think that the Reyna is a really good pickup. If there's a map where you can make Reyna work, it is certainly split. I would say the same thing for Phoenix. Once again, this is just like a weird map where people are like, oh, I've played it for so long, and so even all these agents that maybe aren't the most in favor, we've still played this map enough to know how they could potentially work on this map, and you can just get some cheeky things off.
Yeah, and I think the hover of Fang on the rate on
Select
the
your
Sage
agent.
makes sense as well, right? Let's talk about why Split is such a hated map, and I think it's because of that mid. If you do not have that mid control, you're basically screwed. Let's be honest, right? You're giving the attackers the potential to choose whatever site they want to aggress and get that pick off mid, and then all hell breaks loose because you're having to retake your own site. So having that Sage is going to allow for that protection onto mid, especially for the fact that Humber is going to be on the defense. If you are able to shine bright on the defense, then that means your attack is going to be that much easier. But that's the same thing said for attacking. If you're just like a super aggressive team, like we're seeing coming out here from Overdose, they have, like you talked about, the Neon. Neon is going to get into so many places so quickly. You're going to have to be really, really prepared for that. And to answer for that, the fact that you have like flashes and possibly some nades and a boombot could become a little bit of a pickle if Sage is kind of on the wrong side of where that aggression is going to come out from Overdose. So I think that Overdose is going for that gotta go fast Sonic 2.0 type of vibe, and the job of Humber here is going to be, let's stop it as soon as possible. Let's try to get some initial kills, get that man advantage, and hold sight till the end.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of intrigued as well. Humber College, I believe, either we had a substitute last week or we have a substitute this week in the form of Jort, who is playing this Omen. So I will be interested to see, like, that is kind of a loose cannon as far as my brain is concerned. Somebody that wasn't a player that we watched last week, but I'm really going to be excited to see what they bring to the table, especially on this Omen. The more that we're seeing this controller change up really go certain ways, Omen has been a huge pickup and so impactful, being able to utilize dark covers as much as possible. Speaking of which, you mentioned mid control, and that is exactly what Overdose have thought to themselves as well. And speaking of dark covers as well, Drip able to pick out through one of those dark covers and pick up that kill there. Is traded up by ATL though.
Oh, that was so crazy! DJ is beast, proving that yes indeed, beast indeed. But the man, the myth, the legend, Nyx coming through, just like we talked about. Super instrumental player for Humber.
Yeah, and it looks like with a nice little peek around, is going to be able to pick up a little bit better weaponry in the form of that Ghost, and also meet up with Fang for that heal as well. Now the two of them on the site and trying to figure out how they can make this go into their favor, and that's a great shot as Fang is able to pick off Finite, and now with this defuse starting to go off, Big Sus isn't able to peek around quite as fast, gotten it to half, and get the headshot to boot. I mean, there's a reason that we said Nyx was a player to watch.
Yeah, just that 2K with the Headhunter. Yes, you pay a little bit of economy for it, but it's like it's essentially a free sheriff with like a scope on it. And we see how perfectly it worked in favor of Nyx. Also, just beautifully done to make sure that they weren't peeking one by one. One of the biggest mistakes that just happens overall is getting too, like, your ego's so high that you're like, I'm gonna go for this kill. It's the last person standing. What could possibly go wrong? But that's the good thing about Humber, is they never allow their egos to rise above. They always maintain that composure and swing together. Now falling through, they are gonna have that man advantage, and it looks like this mid is going to be aggressed here by Overdose.
Ooh, this is an interesting decision too. You mentioned that the Sage pickup and being able to utilize the wall is going to be something that will help them control mid, but they're actually choosing to use it to control this entry onto A and instead rely on the dark covers from this Omen to control mid. But just like that, the slow push up from the attackers through this mid area does once again get met by Nyx, the long arm of the law. Even though that's not a sheriff, we can still go ahead and call it that. 3 members of the attacking side down, and the final 2 remaining very split up, and quite a bit of damage pushed onto this Breach, who is now trying to run back to join up with DJ is a beast, as this Sage is just doing some nice little jump peeks, trying to get as much information as possible with that lack of utility remaining. And just like that, that shot coming out from DJ's Abyss does mean that Fang is able to communicate with the rest of the defenders. That hold up, can we get some attention left over towards this A site? And just like that, short, nice rotation is able to pick off. DJ is a beast. Finite, the only player remaining with that Marshall, not quite able to quickscope fast enough, and facing down 2 of them does meet the end from Fang.
Thing coming out on top and holding that A site, not only with a wall, but also with a weapon is fairly just beautifully done. But let's talk about that mid action, right? We saw, you said it yourself, the Sage is not mid. That's something that typically doesn't happen. You usually have your Sage just to wall off the start of the round, but I love the switch up that happened there from Humber, which is let me actually put a dark cover, and then let me actually have the support of our breach with the flash and the aftershock to create some space for Nyx just to get a cheeky 2K and give them that man advantage, which allowed them to eventually get that round secured. But this is where the big test is going to come through, as the attackers do have the weapon advantage, and they are going to continue to aggress onto this mid.
Trap destroyed.
Ooh, Nyx does have that tour de force out, but has to do a quick little rotation. But that is giving DJ is a beast enough false sense of security. A nice rendezvous to a high angle does actually mean that Big Sus will go down as well, forced to fall off that rope because of that boom bot. But it's going to be good enough for ATL and Lokes to be able to pick up a kill as well and get themselves onto site, get this bomb planted alongside Finite, and finally we're getting to see the side of Overdose Gaming with an advantage into this round as Drip trying to figure out, let's see, pick up this gun, let's see, meet up with my teammate, let's see, how are we gonna figure out the way to get onto this site, get this bomb defused, and starting with this fault line is gonna be a great start here. Slow orbs make it that much more difficult for Finite to run away. Some damage put onto this sky, the blind to force in a certain direction. Check this corner! ATL will be able to do a nice little trade, but it is a 1v1 now between this Omen and this Sage, and that bomb is ticking so fast, forces Fang into the situation, but it's just not gonna. Is it? Is it?
No, yeah, he has it. No doubt. I think so.
No,
Oh my gosh.
no doubt, says cute noob, but 0.31 seconds. Oh, everyone makes fun of me because I'm always like, oh, is it gonna be enough? And then usually it ends up not being enough and the defuse is fine. But every once in a while I'm like, no, it's a hype moment. We gotta really feel it, be in this moment, and be in this moment with Overdose Gaming, who have gotten their first round point.
Yeah, and we were expecting that, Becky. They had the weapon advantage. Now moving forward, though, they are going to be at a disadvantage since they do have those light shields. But there's a couple of significant ults already available on the board. As we can see, Finite is going to have that Rolling Thunder, which creates a lot of space for your team, stunning the enemies if they wish to use it on this B, where Finite is. But it looks like it might just kind of be a little bit of a bait. This mid control was given up the last round since they were on that bonus buy. They thought, hey, maybe it's not that worth fighting for it. But now that they have that weapons, they're going to be fighting. As we see, they're starting off with a flash and a little bit of a slow orb here to slow things down.
Yeah, and I like that we are starting to see as the guns get bigger into this game. We did see that Sage move over towards this mid area. Didn't go for the very typical, like, horizontal wall that you typically see, and instead it did this one to block off towards B. I wonder if that was simply assuming that the attackers weren't going to try and go onto this A site, but unfortunately that is where they are intending on hitting. The Rolling Thunder has come out, and DJ is a beast with a nice little lurk up towards this heaven area, is able to get into enemy lines here. Teal will get this bomb down, and now the rest of the defenders have their work cut out for them, but Nick is starting to peek around and is off to a nice start with that kill onto his doppelganger, and now trying to get some more information as to the whereabouts of the remaining attackers as Lokes' vengeance for that chamber takes out Nyx, and now Mikey onto side. Jort with a nice 1-2, and just like that, Fang to finish off that final kill onto Finite after trading off Mikey.
Oh, just so nice. It was looking a little bit grim as we saw Drip go down onto heaven. We were kind of like, okay, maybe this is not going to go the way, their way. That lurk from York was just absolutely phenomenal. We said York might be a sub. I don't know, with that type of little flexing ninja movement, I think this could definitely be the man for the main roster, in case anyone's wondering. He is subbing in for Kripke, who was with us the last matchup. So,
yeah.
A little bit of, it's still Omen, just in a different player's hands, but a very well-made player indeed. As we move on to the following round, it is going to be a save for these attackers, and we're just gonna save. Did I say save?
I've got your
save, and I mean Mikey caught with the knife out and caught palatted. Finite is going to be able to take down 3 kills with that sheriff. And I mean, if you need to tell somebody they need a raise, single-handedly got this around for the side of Overdose Gaming, it is certainly that 3K coming out from Finite there on this breach.
That was so fast. My brain was like, wowzers. Okay, time to check up our, I need to check Aegis, right? Because, like, I feel like my reaction time is so much slower than what I just processed right there. I'm running on a i5. This new system's on an i9. But, you know, anyways.
That's my problem.
Amazing. Just beautifully done. That's a perfect 101 on how to win a save round.
Oh, I mean, and if they could win a safe round like that, then hopefully this buy round is going to be something that allows them to even the score up a little bit. But Nick is going to start off with a lot of damage and immediately get punished for pushing out potentially just a little bit too far there by Big Sus. And now this forced back spot for Drip with just the shorty, gets bit by the dog. Now we're gonna have to go to the hospital, make sure that our rabies vaccine is all situated, and it's just a whole thing for the side of Humber College here. And now Fang also, lots of footsteps coming towards this A site, so if we can get some reinforcements over here, I'm gonna go ahead and go try to peek. Unfortunately, the scope is gonna make it that much harder to combat that Phantom coming out from Finite, who picks up yet another 2 kills with that double onto Mikey as well, followed up with the rest of the ODG squad picking up kills here. The flawless round will bring us to an even 3-3.
3-3, I have to say the aggression coming out from Overdose has just been a little bit too much for Humber to handle. It has to do a lot with how aggressive and how easy it's been for Finite to get that first blood. I talked about it, that this is a play that throughout the whole season has been putting up those numbers, and if you want to have a chance at winning this specific map, if you are Humber, you need to worry about Finite and really eliminating Finite as quickly as possible. Because also, let's talk about it, Finite has those flashes, is able to create that space for his team. As you can see this time around, it's going to be Humber making a little bit more of an aggressive move, but actually Sage is like, you're not coming mid anymore. Mid is blocked.
Wait.
You're done. Pick another intersection.
Can we talk about how Fang basically just saved Mikey from being pushed on while blinded by walling that? Oh my gosh, that's the sweetest thing that I've ever seen. Get you a Sage who helps you out like Fang. Unfortunately, the fast lane followed up by that Rolling Thunder does mean that Jort has to make evasive maneuvers to get out of here. Thankfully, because of that paranoia, did do a great job of actually keeping the rest of the attackers at bay despite that barrage of utility usage. So absolutely phenomenal job coming out from this Omen, and it's one of those reasons that you really do see the Omen continuously picked up as the controller of choice on maps like these.
Yes, indeed. This mid aggression gonna once again. I like the fact that Humber has slowed things down, right? They know that when they get aggressed, it doesn't turn out too well. What they're doing here is just buying themselves a little bit more time, putting that time pressure onto Overdose themselves. It's gonna be the Rolling Thunder though coming out.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
But unfortunately,
doing a great wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, Jort though. Oh, Jort. Nice little peek around. Notice that somebody else is there. Unfortunately, not able to pick up that one on Big Sus, but did make it an even 2v2. The overdrive to grab a lot of damage as well. And now it is just left up to Etiel and Nyx. But that dark cover is going to give Etiel the little bit of edge necessary to bring the full edge to Overdose Gaming.
oh, I was talking about how nicely they were doing buying time for themselves and just putting that pressure instead on the attackers themselves to have that lack of timing. But unfortunately, when that time ticked, it was actually Overdose who was able to get onto the side with not just the Rolling Thunder, but also that fast lane, as you talked about. And the aim was too clean. Good job to Teal for getting a little aggressive onto his own
want
smoke.
to play? Let's play.
That's what you gotta do to win the game. And now to continue to win this game, they are gonna have the From the Shadows as well as the Toward the Forest, and continuing that mid aggression that has been so successful for them time and time again.
Ooh. All right, Jort, once again, being aggressive and once again having to be a little evasive as well. It's got to feel a little bit rough to use the paranoia that early. The last time that we used a paranoia early, it was kind of weighted out by the enemy attackers, and so now we're just going to try and get some shots towards that ultimate orb, but the Seekers are going to come out after finding that final ult tip. Oh, from behind! Mikey trying to make everything come together, but Big Sus is just in such a great position that is so difficult for the defense to combat.
Down to just one. Nyx, a player that has proven to have the potential, has proven time and time before, but not when you're looking the wrong way, Becky.
I mean, that was so hard. It's one of those situations where we're like, we just watched Big Sus like go behind enemy lines, end up being so aggressive, and so you and I are thinking like, you gotta be looking behind you. But if you're just a player in your own little brain, playing your little game of Valorant, you're not thinking about looking behind you all the time. You're also in a 1v4, so your options kind of limited. So I don't blame Nyx for not looking back too much there, and did have that tour de force to kind of bridge the gap into this round, and now full buy up for the side of Humber as well as Overdose. So this is going to be quite the round, as we also see that Mikey does have this showstopper available and both from the shadows ready.
That's a little cheeky min. There's actually a little bit of baiting going on. I like the aggression coming out from Finite over on the safe side. Peeks on Nyx and indeed gets the kill, but Fang is right around the corner. Ready to trade it out. It's gonna be the trademark. Wait, does the trademark still go out? No, it does not. Ooh. Actually, that trademark is dead as can be, just like Chamber is. It's going to be full control onto this A site, but actually the bomb is making its way onto this B.
Oh, I mean, if it makes its way onto B, it looks like everyone else is kind of collapsing from Humber College onto Finite, so they're going to realize pretty quickly that the jig is up. That was just a little bit of a distraction, and now with the bomb firmly onto this B site, the defense is going to have a kind of long race around the map to go to get themselves on, but thankfully Jort being able to pick up that early kill is going to make it that much easier for the side of Humber College to have the numbers advantage going on to this retake. Some vault line and showstopper action unfortunately just doesn't land. I mean, the nerf to that showstopper really showing up here, but DJ is a beast. Right place, right time, doing plays, shooting with the classic, does not manage to stop the spike defuse from Fang, and a fourth round will go into Humber College's back pocket.
You love to see it, Becky. I don't know if you caught the VCT stage 2. This I want to say 2 weekends ago, FaZe just had the most insane ninja defuses, and that's what I got right now. Flashbacks to FaZe defusing the bomb. Fang, pros don't fake, said, yo, if I'm gonna risk it, I'm gonna risk it for everything right about now. I mean, right click for DJ did come through, but just not at the right second.
Yeah, and thankfully, money a little bit rough for Humber College, so they all did die, and some buy-ups looking a little bit rough. Mikey is going for some light armor, the rest of the squad also on light armor. Not like it's gonna matter against those headshots from that Vandal like Lopes just made, but nonetheless, gonna be able to do some, hopefully up-close shots! Ooh. Never mind when Big Sus, once again, is just gonna keep that distance for the side of the attackers. Money looking so rough, especially when you're trying to get onto site and try to utilize that tour de force. Nyx just is not able to make it all happen, but Jort trying to get some action here, finds one. I hate when you peek into two of them and all of a sudden they're like, I don't know who to hit. There's two people on my screen. How do I pick which one?
Yeah. Definitely a tough choice, and definitely tougher when you know that you're the last person standing and you want to do something, and it just doesn't go your way. Just beautifully done, though. The knowledge that is coming out for Overdose to realize that, yo, they're not on the best buy. We've also continued to aggress mid and B. Let's switch things up. Let's head on over to this A site. And that one time, Nyx decided to play really aggressively onto ramps and got picked off right off the bat. Nyx is a player that needs to stay alive if he wants to give his team a shot at playing retake or even just holding onto the site. And as we can see, this A site, it has been aggressed. The bomb is going to get planted for free. And oh, the push for Big Sus!
Ooh, oh
Spike
my
planted.
goodness. I mean, I thought, okay, if that's an iron elo, all of them die to the overdrive there. I don't care who you are, but in a place where you're able to hit the headshot, speaking of hitting headshots, Nick's Headhunter is called that for a reason. Finds two very quickly. Thankfully, Finite and Natil, the two players remaining are no slouches, able to pick up so many kills here, and with just a shorty in hand, Fang can't continue to hold on to the weight of the world for Humber College.
Listen, Sage can rise from the dead, right? She can allow someone to rise from the dead, but she can't hold the whole world, all right? So we need this team. We need Humber to carry their own weight. Today, Nyx's backpack is very minimalist. He decided to go to Disneyland and only brought a fanny pack, folks. So we need everyone else to make sure that they're carrying their own fanny packs and putting their own weight on right about now. They do have 3 ultimates that are pretty nice. We've got Thunder Shadows, we've got the Resurrection, we've also got that Rolling Thunder. Like though peaks at the wrong time. Double swing from these amazing attackers. Just the buddy system is strong within this ones.
Yeah, I mean, very nicely, though, able to do that trade from Drip as well. Unfortunately, the blind, not quite able to blind the attacking side, and Nyx not peeking out at the correct moment there, does get picked off, and that's going to start to hurt, as that was a 1-4-0 in this situation, and the rest of the attackers are moving towards pushing on to this B site.
Investment of the Rolling Thunder onto this B site did not connect with anyone, but hey, at least they got onto the site. The bomb's gonna get planted, and as we can see, there's still a Rolling Thunder on the hands of Drip and Resurrection if we want to make this more of an even matchup for these defenders.
Oh, there we go. I was gonna say, I'm certainly hoping for it last round. Gotta make sure that it's invested. Unfortunately, Nyx is away from keyboard, and Lokes is able to just nicely peek around and finish that one up. Thankfully, though, it does allow for enough of a distraction for Fang and Drip to pick up 2 kills. The blinds coming through so strong. Running out of room, making it so difficult for Fang to do anything. Lokes picks up 4, and DJ is a beast, finishes it off, and it will be an 8-4 half in favor of Overdose Gaming.
Timing at its finest. I feel so bad about the reload. I feel like it's happened to all of us whenever you're like in a really intense fight. And I love the wall that came out from Fang there. It really allowed for them to buy a little bit more time for Omen to start defusing. Unfortunately, though, the reload, worst time ever. And also, let's talk about they kind of like lined up for that shot as well. So unfortunate series of events at its finest right there coming out from Humber. But now we're switching things up, all right? We're taking this to attack. 8-4. All right, maybe not the best, maybe not what you were hoping for, but if you take it slow, you win this pistol round, then that could potentially give you a little bit more of some breathing room for the following rounds.
Ooh. Well, that audio cue will let Overdose Gaming have some breathing room. Let them know that the side of the attacking Humber College is hanging out towards this A site, and that will be enough for them to do the timely peaks that allow them to pick off 3 members of the attack. And now it is left just up to Drip and Nyx, unfortunately, who also have to figure out a way to get the spike that is hanging out towards this A site. Heaven, Drip is able to pick off 1 more, but Big Sus sliding in. Drip says absolutely not. 70 HP and a green takes a little bit more damage, and that's going to be the okay go cue from Finite to peek around and finish that off. And Overdose Gaming continue to hold on to their lead.
A 5-round lead indeed, with the man, the myth, the legend, Finite being on top, 13-8-5. Working his way over to
13-5?
13-8. Sorry, I was looking at assists right there. My bad, Brain. Brain was like autopilot, you know numbers, you got this.
I was like, holy smokes!
Only 5 deaths. I mean, we can only dream, right? Me and you, Becky, we can only dream. I mean, the closest to 5 deaths is going to be DJ is the best. Past 6. Oh, close enough.
Close.
But this mid-aggression is going to happen for Humber here. As we know, there isn't that much stoppage in the hands of Overdose, but it doesn't matter. Overdose doesn't care about stoppage. They care about getting the kills, doing the damage. And as we can see here, we do have a Sky right in the corner to heal him right up.
Yeah, I mean, I like how they've decided to, 1, go for the close corner mid-battle here since they are on this pistol round. Unfortunately, that guiding light is going to make things very difficult. So far, 1-for-1 trades across the board as Mikey has been able to pick up 2 kills here. I like the beautiful use of paint shells at the start of that as well to kind of force the Neon to make a nice little run across and take quite a bit of damage. It kind of lured out the Sky as well and just really helped the attacking side know exactly who was where towards this mid area. And now they're able to make this aggression towards the different side of the map. Finally start to make it that much more difficult for the defensive side
30
to
seconds
figure out
left.
where they are as well. And now we're sneaky all over the place here, going through this B site heaven and trying to move themselves around towards into spawn. Who knows where they're going right now, but the train is rolling.
Train is rolling and the time is ticking. They have to make their stop, otherwise
10
they're gonna
seconds
miss
left.
this opportunity of a free sight. It's going to be Mickey over onto Haven with 4 health and a dream. Does a little bit of damage over onto Lux, but unfortunately does not get the kill. It's gonna be a 2v2. I don't believe that Lux has a flash. I could be wrong. We do know that the aftershock is in the hands
Last
of
player
Breach.
standing.
They wish
One
to push this
enemy
out, but
remaining.
no, it's gonna be the swing. Lux with the Spectre does come on top. 9 bullets in the chamber. But guess what? Chamber is less health than that.
Less health than that, and Lokes picks up the 3K to nicely bring the side of Overdose Gaming to double digits here, and I mean, really kind of solidifying their strength in this game. Certainly a map that they came very prepared for, and their team composition is looking quite strong as well. I was really kind of expecting, we saw Mikey do a fantastic job on the Rays last time as well, and I kind of feel like I was expecting a little bit more from the side of Humber College and especially Mikey on this Rays, but I'm just continuing to be very impressed by Big Sus and the way that the aggression has just been able to come and be so solidified nicely by the use of this Sky with the guiding light as well as the breach and those blinds as well. Right as I say that though, of course, Big Sus has to go and die on me.
It's like, you can't hype me up too much, Becky. I gotta throw it all out the window to prove you that you're wrong. But I have to agree with you, Becky. The fact that I'm not seeing a little bit more fight coming out from Humber here is kind of daunting, right? Because we talked about how well they did against Catalysm Gaming, and we know that Overdose lost to Catalysm
Spike
Gaming, so
down
we were kind
A.
of like, it just by default, Humber needs to be the better
enemy
team.
remaining.
And
Oh my
I have
God.
to say that Nyx pops off. Okay, 3K. That took the 4. Not home. Drip, though, is there and says, I got your back, buddy. I'll help you out.
All right. I mean, so I guess that's what we need to convert this into a dub for the side of Humber College is have somebody like Nyx be right place, right time. Also, that felt like a little bit rough. We saw Finite like kind of pop up out of the rope and then be not able to pull the gun out fast enough. And Nyx was just like, yeah, I'm shooting a little bit slow. I'm a little bit distracted by this trademark, but not to worry. I'm still going to be able to figure this all out. Able to pick up those 3 kills and make it that much easier to get a dub under Humber College's belt.
Aggression over onto mid, Becky, is real indeed for Humber here, as they know that there's not that much that can stop them. We could see potentially a flash. We could get a little bit of a stun from Breach. Also as well as a stun from Neon, but there isn't a lot of util that could say, hey, you're not going to hit this site, right? And as we see, they continue to progress onto this B heaven. As far as the rotations, though, from the defenders, they're already on their way.
Oh, unfortunately, that was a very nice teal paranoia there and does make it that much more difficult and spell death for a lot of the attacking side of Humber College there. Beautifully done
player
on that
standing.
utility. And, you know, Nyx is just saying, you know, I'm sad that all my teammates died, so I'm looking to fall a little bit as well. But Fang is actually the one with the fight. I mean, all right. If the name of the game for Humber College is just like, all right, let's go back and forth until we see which one of our members is able to just go nuts, go crazy. Didn't we just
30
talk about this
seconds
on the
left.
desk before coming into this game? We were like, that's how this works. Unfortunately, the way they are going to shore it up is not by having your knife out. And Finite, with a nice little peek around at the right time, says, we're going to keep this train rolling for Overdose Gaming.
Only 6 points apart, though. I mean, yes, we're close to getting to that match point, but like you said, Becky, the fact that at any moment, any one of the players from Humber could just decide, yo, I'm gonna turn on my really high sends my really high aim training routine right here and just pop off, makes it that much scarier. 6 points, though, kind of a lot to ask for if you're
You want to play?
just
Let's
here.
play.
We do have the Tour de Force coming out for Nyx. We also have the Rolling Thunder. So I kind of would like to see Humber just go to a site and hit it hard without any type of... Never mind. I'm just gonna... or we could just have Sus pull out that Palpatine fingers and just W key all the way into the spawn.
Maybe I should start playing Neon because I really like to W key, and if I can just W key and zap people, I think I would have a great time playing Valorant. And I mean, it definitely seems like watching Big Sus play this Neon, Big Sus looks to be having a great time as well. However, Jort is going to make it that much more difficult here. Picks off that 1 kill as well, and knows that some amount of the members of ODG are kind of hanging out over towards this area, able to hear those swishy footsteps from that Neon. Unfortunately, the little bit of a power glide is going to make it that much more difficult for Jort to land those shots. Lokes now alongside Big Sus has to figure out a way to get onto the site, but Fang, nice crosshair placement, not able to push through past that wall though. Oh, nope, never mind. Can actually squeeze it in. Make sure that we can push past, and now just trying to play a little bit of a do-si-do here that is picking so fast, and Fang will be able to clutch this one up after not being able to grab the previous one.
Not able to, but continuing to keep that composure is key. Also keeping that resurrection in the back pocket is also key and instrumental through this falling round, because let's play some hypothetical. I love hypotheticals, by the way, chat. I love making up little stories, scenarios of what we could potentially see, which is, look at the economy, right? It's looking like ODG knows that if they lose this round, they're going to be broke as can be, broker than broke, no money in the bank, and they're going to decide, you know what, we're just going to buy low here and give this round over to Humber. I mean, when I say give, I don't know, because Overdose has been actually insane with the Sheriff. And they say that they're falling apart at the seams. This B-side is fully in control of Humber here.
Yeah, I think the person that we actually saw be insane for Overdose Gaming with the Sheriff was actually Finite. So for Finite to fall that early is certainly going to be rough. However, the rest of the team certainly trying to do a nice little back and forth here. Loke's the only one remaining, but all things considered, still having that Sheriff in hand, potentially having a little bit bigger of a gun, be able to be picked up now, and in a 1v2 situation, has a lot of the utility. Unfortunately, there's no way Loke has any idea that Nyx is right behind, and Peekaboo says the 7th round for Humber College.
Okay, we're cutting the numbers down. We're taking it one by one, and I really like the composure that is being shown by Humber. When you get that really big gap, you start kind of panicking and seeing teams kind of throw strats at the wall and hope that they stick, and that's kind of not what we're seeing here. We're seeing them be very, very picky about where they're going. I talked about me wanting them to just hit a site, though, and hit it hard, and I'm hoping this is the round, since they do have the Showstopper, they have the Rolling Thunders, they also have full shields as well as AKs. They're gonna have to be very careful, though. There is a man. Hit the shots. Finite is gonna be Sage the first to go down, but the trade-off is there. The Rolling Thunder comes on through, but no one's actually onto the site.
Nobody is there, and it is actually from heaven with that Tour de Force. DJ is able to pick up one as well. That Tasmanian Tiger is going to go in and make known where some of the members of the attacking side are, nicely avoiding that paranoia from Nyx. Dark covers to come out as well, and the push from both of these players is going to go through as Nyx rendezvous to a safer location. 3-2, make it a 2-1, as Mikey is finally able to have a wake-up moment with that showstopper and get an 8th round going Humber's way.
I feel like I need to sing the wake me up inside. I don't know, I just had to insert that in there because that's exactly what popped into my head when you said that, and it's good to see. Also, you talked about it earlier too. Raze's Showstopper is booty cheeks now. I feel like every time I shoot it at someone, it like is
You gotta hit
drawn
'em
into
point blank.
Yeah. Anyways, whatever. That was a really good showstopper, though, is what I meant from all that conversation. And the combo wombo coming out from Nix and Micah. We've seen it before, but unfortunately, it's gonna be shut down right from the start here. Oh my, okay, Big Sus.
All right, Overdose did not come to play. Aggression through mid, all 5 of them, and now Drip's like, the rest of my team was a distraction. I don't know. I guess I'll play a 1v4, gets this bomb down, and gets 300 credits in the back pocket of Humber, I guess. But the side of Overdose Gaming just brought the heat into this round as Big Sus picks up 3. And wow, what a fast round we just saw as ODG find themselves on match point.
I don't think they like Victoris. That's why they're like, we're done with go. We're done with this map. We're done with match noob strokes. Let's go and head on over to the last. One thing that we talked about at the beginning, Becky, was the fact that if you can defend and buy up those rounds for you, it's gonna be way easier. The hard thing for Humber is they were unable to do that on defense, right? They are kind of finding their way throughout this attack, but unfortunately, I feel like it might have been a little bit too late for them since they gave up so many defending rounds. The only hope right now, is if they can win this round and hold out another. And then maybe then they can look to push to that 10th round. They have to be very careful and they have to be very quick. As you just saw, the aggression from Overdose can just be turned on to 1000% when they wish to do so. It's gonna be Finite, the one with fault line here, giving away the position of maybe the whole squad here onto Mayo.
Yeah, definitely did a lot of concussing, and now is kind of just waiting, watching this angle. They've known for the attacking side of Humber to push through this angle quite a few times. Aftershock, all right, nicely going to be able to avoid that, and Teal will actually be the first to draw blood here with that kill into Jort, but Mikey anticipating that breach. If you're going to use that utility from that same angle every single time and not move, we're going to figure it out. Unfortunately, Big Sus also to figure out where Mikey and the rest of Humber are hanging out, and Fang gonna potentially utilize this resurrection, bring Mikey back from the dead, and try to give the edge to the side of Humber College as they push onto this B side. Oh my gosh, DJ's not quite able to initially kill Nix there, but is finally able to do that last bit of damage. Drip with a nice trade out, so that Rendezvous doing quite a big amount of work. Now Big Sus has some work to do. Mikey with a beautiful satchel out to find that final kill on to a Teal. And I mean, if Humber can keep this pace up, we might be seeing a very back and forth match.
Yeah, and we're already starting to see it, right? As soon as Finite is the first person down, that's when Humber is like, oh, yo, we got this. We're okay. We can breathe. This is doable. But Finite needs to be eliminated ASAP. Of course, we can also talk about Big Sus, who has gotten into the most insane cheeky spots with the dark cover. So the usage of utility from Overdose together is chef's kiss. I'm having such a field trip here, seeing how well they combine it to benefit one another. It's going to be this operator here at mid that might cause a little bit of tension for Humber.
Ooh, nice flash to come around the corner and try to keep them safe for a little bit. Unfortunately, that double peek out does mean that DJ is a beast is able to get some action right back, some damage put on to Mikey there, and Finite is able to hop away to safety. Unfortunately, the peek that time definitely gonna go Finite's way. Picks off those two, and now is just gonna allow for this Neon to run a little wild here. Big Sus coming out, peeking, forcing that direction from Nix alongside that Aftershock. Thankfully, those were nice little rat play there. Gonna keep in that corner, be able to pick off 2 there, but does have a lot of weight on this little Jort's shoulders. Has to beat 3 remaining players of ODG, and some shots coming out are going to make it very obvious where Jort is hanging. And a Teal from downtown. Look behind you, says the Omen. And that kill is secured, and the first map goes to ODG. Our predictions are looking a little rough.
We're falling apart, Humber.
One day, beautiful Crow will. Okay, all right.
There you go.
All
There
right,
you
cool.
go.
We're back.
All right.
Yeah, your predictions might be bad, but
All right, yeah.
the taste of
That-
victory is in my hands as Overdose. Yo, they came to play. They came to fight. Absolute back and forth towards that beginning, like we thought this matchup would be. We thought both of these teams would be very evenly matched to the point where we potentially could see the overtime angles and the game 3 angles. This first game is pretty telling of how this entire series is going to go, I would say. Quick little
Okay.
notes, like Humber, I feel like they were waiting for Mikey to really come online. I know Cute Noob made the Evanescence bring me to life joke halfway through the match, and I thought that was absolutely hilarious because it's true. They played differently once Mikey was able to get those frags, once he was able to play entry to a successful level and actually, get the man advantages and whatnot. Other than that, like Nick's on Chamber, man. He's so good, having such a good performance. Like he was trying to get that big backpack ready to carry through. Just was not working, unfortunately, because on the other side of that, you had I like to call this the finite and sus show, because those two together are absolute menaces, and it really showed. Overdose was really showing their team play, like why they are so high up in the standings and why they are such a good match up against Humber, I would say.
Wait, Crow, we have to talk about it. Eel. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I want to say, 5 plants and then 3 first bloods. So definitely as impactful as Big Sus as well. I have to say, in general, I think what Overdose is doing so greatly is using utility for each other. A lot of things that the teams kind of, when teams aren't really like put together, we do see that disconnection of utility just being there for one purpose, and which is to, like, let's say for example, stop a push. But as we saw, Finite and ETO used their utility to hold down mid together with the absence of a Sage or, for example, a KJ as well.
Yeah, beautifully done. And I love what
For
you said
sure.
about the utility, and
Yes.
happy to see it continue to be a big factor in these games, because I think that's one of the biggest perks of Valorant is the utility that you have on these agents and how you get to use them together to really kind of make a cohesive team and team play.
Absolutely. And both these teams showing really great team play, both these teams showing good utility use and coverage for each other. And I'm really excited to get in this game too. But we're going to take a quick little break. And when we come back, we will resume the series between Overdose Gaming and Humber College Esports. So we will see you in just a second. Welcome back, everybody, to week 6 of VLS Overdose Gaming versus Humber College. I'm Beautiful Crow. That's Cute Noob. That's Becky. Game 1 was really, really fun. Super contested all the way towards the end, as we thought it would be. We are going to get into Game 2 here in a second. I do know that map 2 is Haven. So
I think Humbert's redeeming themselves here.
Yes.
That's my prediction. Before, I know we just I'm itching, but they went 13-2 last time, and I have to believe that if they had that close of a first game, like barring their mental being put in the dirt, I think that this is how they're turned into background.
You know, I got to think the same. I do. As much as I want the 2-0, I also want the 2-1. Like, I want to see that 3-game series. This was their map, and like they really did a number last week for PG's sake. And they're looking to repeat that same thing. So quickly going down the list, keys to victory for Humber. What do you think they should be? Cute Noob, go.
Anxiety. Sorry, me anxious. Definitely. I want to see that wake up from Mikey. I'm sorry, I butchered your name, Micah. I'm gonna get it one of these days. I promise. I'm gonna have a one-on-one with you, and you can teach me your way. Definitely. But we need to see that top fragging kind of action. Nyx cannot be the only soldier onto the game plan. We need a little bit of a wake up. I don't know if Jort seems to be doing phenomenal, even though like he's like a new face to be added onto Humber. But I do want to see that aggression and also just that kind of wake up. Like it's time to go. You know, you kind of chilled the first map. Maybe you just came home from work. Maybe you're just getting on to Valorant. I don't know what's going on there, but you got one in the books. It's time to roll it through. Big for ODG. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know, if you keep aggressing, if your team composition is as aggressive as it was onto Split for Haven, it's gonna be crazy. So I'm ready for it.
All right. Final thoughts from the two of you before we get into this game number 2. Becky, let's start with you.
Nyx better pick I'm like 99% sure that we're going to see Nyx pick this chamber. If Nyx doesn't pick chamber, I owe both of you a McFlurry. And I think that like the thing that I do think that like Humber should have a good stance going into this game, again because they had such a great showing on this map last time, so they clearly have a very strong game plan. The part that does scare me is that the team composition that we just saw Overdose Gaming bring to Split is actually a team composition that would be phenomenal on Haven, and they showed clear prowess on those agents on that last map. So if they bring something like that Breach and the Neon to a map like this, that is something that could potentially scare me, and we could see them take a 2-0 if they pick very similar agents to what they picked on the last map.
Gotcha. Cute Noob, any last words before we get into this game?
Let's go in!
All right, going in we are, so I will be stepping away once again.
We'll miss
I
you.
will see you guys on the other side.
Make sure you're not muted when you come back. Not to roast you.
We'll see what happens.
All right, Becky, we're not muted, and we're ready for these agent selections. Aside from the Neon, aside from the Breach, any saucy agents you want to see being brought here?
It's weird because I feel like nothing is saucy on Haven. I feel like Haven is just such a vanilla, boring map. Like, I would be excited if somebody picked a Cypher. I know it's not going to happen. I wish somebody would, though. I know that, like, since Chamber got put into the Valorant existence, Chamber or Cypher and Killjoy just took a very long nap. Is what my parents would tell me about my animals that I had growing up, and that's what my parents would tell me about Cypher and Killjoy. So
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's not okay, but going
emotional
back
damage.
Emotional damage. In the meantime, we will be seeing the chambers picked up. Surprise, surprise. The only difference that I believe that we're seeing is the KO pickup for the side of actually Finite is gonna move off of that Breach. They did not actually end up bringing the Neon here, so I mean that is a chance. We could be seeing Humber have a strength in this game, and the fact that like I think one of the best duelists for this map was not picked up by the side of ODG.
Yeah, the idea of bringing out the Jet to me makes me think that they aren't as confident on this map as they were on Split. Because the Jet is, even though yes, she is as old as time, there has been a little restructure. Some people say it matters, some people say it doesn't matter. But Lokes also, Jet being on the hands of Lokes, who, mind you, wasn't one of the top players last map, it makes it a little bit more concerning in my part for ODG here, as Lokes is actually the first one to get the first blood. Okay, just
whoa, full Christmas tree on the kill feed there, back and forth, but it is actually the side of Humber who comes out a little bit on bottom here, but Mikey says, you know what, we can reverse this tide a little bit. I've got this Sky by my side, I've got, well, never mind, no Sky by the side, but now we do have a 1v1 situation. Piggshells does come out, it's enough to force DJ is a beast out into the open, and Mikey can pick up that kill beautifully, bringing Humber College the first pistol round. I don't know why, I got a weird voice in there too.
I love it. You're feeling the groove that we've been asking for Mikey to get into. Definitely seeing it now as we move on to Haven here. And you know, I was really excited to be like, wow, like even though ODG doesn't have that aggressive type of team composition that they did so on Split, they still managed to get that up, but somehow, some way, there was a little bit of disconnection there from the Sky and the Chamber there, and it all kind of crumbled apart with the aggression of DJ is a Beast. That's gonna make them slow down coming into this second round, and as I say that, Kale's like, slow down, what do you mean? I'm gonna full send it onto this B. Flash comes through though, repositions. It's gonna be Nick swinging. Actually, never mind. It's gonna be the let's just smoke it out so nobody swings here.
I mean, I like it. I like diffusing the situation with that smoke. Ooh, Nyx, though. I mean, you knew somebody was there, so an unfortunate time to get peeked, but nicely being able to do that trade back alongside that flashpoint is Fang. Jort to also pick up a kill onto Itil on a completely different side of the map, but happy to get some action nonetheless. And now is going to be able to reposition a little bit. The pings are going to come out, and it looks like the side of the attackers are trying to go towards this C site. Nice little regrowth to top Lokes off on this HP. Always making sure that you hang out with your healer and say thank you. Paranoia is going to come out and try to keep some aggression off. Nice peek around coming out from Jort. That's what you love to see from the Omen, and now it is left just up to Big Sus, who is going to fall to Mike.
You made a very important statement there, Becky. Make sure you say thank you to your healers. I don't think that we've ever hear enough thank yous to the healers, because mind you, healers are important in Valorant. Like we just saw, Sky healed up a friend, said, hey, you got hurt, you did some damage, but don't you worry, I'm gonna kiss that boo-boo, put a little bandage on it, and you're ready to go into battle and clean up town, just like we saw Humber do right there and then. Now, though, the fight continues as ODG does have the full weapons. They also are working towards the force for DJ is a Beast, who just happens to also be top fragging here in place of Infinite, making up a little bit more room here for his team. The aggression is going to be onto this B site, and I can't help but feel like this is it. They want to plant there with the bomb. Look at the bomb, Becky.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Finite able to get a nice early kill on Drip there. Nyx on the ball. Bang! Had a nice kind of push through. Unfortunately, Finite does say the jig is up. Trying to push through this smoke does mean that it will spell defeat for Finite, but DJ is a beast to peek out through that other side of that smoke. Finish that off nicely. And this is kind of the same old song and dance. We're very used to this kind of setup, this 2-1 start. Pick up the first 2 rounds for one team, the counter from the other. But now the 4th round where it all starts to come together.
Finally find the group, they finally find the kills, mind you, but the showstopper is making its presence for Mikey, something that did not do too great onto Split, hopefully making a little bit of a difference here coming into this following round. Also, we do have that nullification, so it's going to be very instrumental that that showstopper gets popped at the perfect time. Otherwise, it's going to be a bye-bye ultimate for Mikey. DJ also has a tour de force available and has brought it out to play here in this following round. Mid control is coming through for these attackers as well as the null.
Oh my gosh. The Guiding Light definitely making it so that Nyx into that double peek isn't able to make too much magic happen. Drip with a nice stop to that KO. Also a stop to Lokes here, unfortunately. That Tour de Force is going to be that much more difficult to handle. Mikey from behind. They're making their home onto this B site, a site that you don't normally see attackers be able to make so much happen on. And now it is just ATL. Unfortunately, the showstopper. That's a place where it really does shine in those up close and personal situations. Booty cheeks, Mikey doesn't seem to think so. Show stopping all the way to a third round.
I'm gonna be a hater. I just have to. I have to be a hater. I don't think that ultimate needed to come out whatsoever. I think that was a panic reaction to the last map. The fact that they allowed so many rounds to go on through. And Mikey, I see the fear. I smell it 500 bajillion miles away. I don't know where you are. Just making it up here. Distances. Anyways, it could have been saved for a more impactful round. Right there was a 2v1. You swing together, buddy system. There's no way you could fail. But, all right, fine. You got the round onto the board. Now what? Now you got to worry about these full weapons on the hands of ODG making their way onto the site. There is a trade-off there, but they haven't actually decided where they want to go. They're kind of just defaulting it out here.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of damage dealt onto this guy, and unfortunately, it being on Drip does mean that we can't get that regrow. Oh my goodness, Fang. Being a little like, oh, hello, to this Omen, and both of them gonna scoot away from that situation. Unfortunately, Mikey trying to go on towards the middle of the map and get in on the action. Does maybe a little bit too much, and DJ as a beast is going to be able to find that kill there. Damage gonna stick for now onto that chamber as the rest of them on the attacking side are starting to solidify their decision to move on towards this A site as the dark covers come out, followed by that Guiding Light. Paranoia as well, just a ton of utility. Even though nobody's on there, it will keep them at bay, and it will allow for the attackers to make this bomb plant safe and sound.
Okay, we do have some dark cover coming out from Jort. Does have from the shadows, is going up to heaven. No one's home, so they are going to get that land there taking over. There's a flash through, but unfortunately there is no one left, but Jort's left alive. Jort has a lot to prove here if they go for it. Could also be a, hey, let me just save my weapon because, you know, we have little to no money here. And after taking a couple pop shots says, you know what, I'm going to back it up. Cover going out. Yep, saving. We like that.
Yeah, when you have 17 HP and you're in a 1v3, I like the decision to go ahead and save. And I'll take this moment to kind of talk about something that you mentioned in the showstopper usage kind of early on. There is something that the side of Humber is doing at the start of every single round, and it keeps kind of catching out DJ is a beast. They're using that fault line from that breach as well as the Guiding Light. The Guiding Light will force DJ is a beast to like go off of this high angle that's being held, and then in falling off, falls into the fault line and concusses basically every single round for the last 3 rounds. And if they'd have just chosen to save this showstopper, oh, that was a tongue twister for some reason, for a situation where you're hoping that that utility that you're blowing at the start of every single round actually works, this was maybe not the place where I would have expected it, but somehow they don't check that corner. Unfortunately, the clip ends, and Mikey isn't able to get that second kill, but does have a lot of damage onto Lokes. Unfortunately, that regrowth is gonna say, you know what, it doesn't matter too much. The Seekers do come out from the attacking side Sky as well, destroy those cabbages, but it will also destroy Drip in the process. Woo! Destroy Jort as well as Big Sus picks up 2 big kills, and now it is left just up to Nyx, and well, just up to Nyx, who is running around knife out and allows for Big Sus to pick up 3rd kill.
Oh, I can't help but feel like if Jorts might have been a little more besties with Drip, that could have been the it round for Humbert there. Is just a little bit of a miscommunication. timing at its finest, but a phenomenal job for Big Sus, who went from being onto that neon to being onto the sky, and that's definitely a change of pace there in itself. You kind of have to stay back as a sky and really use your utility to create that space for your team. You're not so just going in there W keying all around, but even so, Sky happens to be right there in the middle of the pack, just one kill away from being fighting off for that first place. Teal, though, he says, first place, I like it, let's go.
Oh, I mean, but Lokes is also eyes on that prize as well. He's of 2 more kills. Jordan might be get in on this as well. Unfortunately, that satchel peek out is not going to be enough. DJ is the beast trying to keep it all together, but now it is Omen versus Omen. Okay, wait, no, I feel like, okay, this is one of those dumb situations where I feel like I have to be really quiet, and unfortunately the paranoia does allow for a teal in that sneaky situation to bring ODG that round to a close.
Oh man, that just was, it was what it was, right? Like we thought that it was gonna be like the sneaking behind someone and just like stabbing them in the back, but actually it was more like a fair Omen 1v1 battle with the blind.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it wasn't fair because Atil like knew where Jort was, and Jort didn't know where Atil was. So I don't know if that's really fair, but
I don't know,
usually when it's oh my goodness. Blinding. Oh wait, no way this goes well. Okay, well at least you know getting one is good. Getting one is good, especially when you're down on guns. Jordan being able to take out that kill actually pretty big, and it let known a lot of information. Let known that all of the attackers are going towards this site. Unfortunately, that's not going to be enough to Drip alive, and now Fang kind of fighting with fire. Unfortunately, he's going to get concussed the moment that smoke dissipates, and that will spell disaster for Fang. And now the 2 remaining members of the defensive side are going to try and keep it all together. That Sword of Force is going to do its best to do so. Mikey with that classic just can't make it all happen. And now we got to hope that everyone peeks around these corners and just falls into the palm of Nyx's hand.
1v1. Everybody take a turn here. But no,
don't all go at once. Actually, don't all go at once, because that would make it that much more difficult. If you do all go at once, please line up. Unfortunately, that will not be the case.
They're like, no, we will not. We want this round, and so they shall take it. And the economy is booming for ODG, already looking to establish their lead once again with this full buy. They also have the Blade Storms as well as from the Shadows, and are about to get the Seekers once again. I feel like I've seen the Seekers every other round so far, and that just speaks volumes about the people playing Sky here. Drip already having those as well, and the Rolling Thunder in the hands of Fang. This is going to be either a disaster or the most epic battle of all times, as so many ultimates are available. This C push is going to push on through. The blind goes through the teleport for Omen, but it's already the space being taken by Loki.
Yeah, I mean, beautifully done from Jort there. Uses the utility, gets out of that situation, and is going to wait to join up with the rest of the team. Doesn't want what's happened on the previous rounds, where one of the members of the defensive side just takes an early fall, and then it all starts to come into a rough place for the teams here. And just like that, members do fall as they try to come back in to this site and take this
Teleport's gone.
Oh, blind. Just down once again to a 2v4. Make that a 2v3. Make that a 2v2. Okay, scratch that. 2v1.
A little bit better, and just not quite going to be enough for Jort to get into a position to take it down, that final 1v2 situation. And I feel like we're kind of seeing a repeat of what happened in the game before as well, where it was a very back and forth early as well. And then all of a sudden we start to see ODG just kind of edge themselves into a better and better position and just take control of this game slowly but surely.
Yeah, and I can't help but feel it's because Humber really wants to not give up sites. And even though we did see them kind of give up C, there was still that early flank that EO got off of, I want to say it was Drip. Drip got cut out trying to flank C there, and it's already giving them a man disadvantage every single time. It seems like they're going one by one. So much we praise ODG about using the utility for one another. Humber isn't really doing that so much. They're not really playing for each other. They're just trying to, they kind of look like individual players trying to, take on a site or trying to be that hero of the round. And unfortunately, it is not working out. George has been kind of the stable player and also a sub, mind you, for this team so far. We always talk about Nyx, but look where Nyx is. And I think this might be kind of an indicator of why this is going that way. Nyx hasn't been able to find that stability and even popped off onto the chamber. We've seen him pop off before, but right now it's a little lackluster.
And hopefully they'll be able to bring that luster back after this little time out, get themselves into a better position here. We know that they are certainly a strong team, as they had a very good showing on this map on the previous week, and now just have to kind of find themselves back into that stride. Fang, kind of waiting for a moment to use this utility. I like this adaptation. We were previously seeing Fang kind of spew out a lot of utility early into the rounds, and now we're definitely seeing a longer hold, trying to gather a little bit more information before going ahead and just throwing all of that to the wayside. And now is going to be able to utilize that fault line to keep Finite out of this B site for just a little while longer. That knife is going to allow for a little bit of suppression and information for the attacking side, and just like that, they will be able to move on towards this A side, but very nicely done with that headshot on the Sheriff from Mikey.
Oh, this would be a perfect time to see that showstopper. The Seekers do get invested, but no, it's gonna be Teal! Teal just popping
30
off.
seconds left.
Popping off indeed. 2 kills down, and now Nyx gonna try and do the same thing here. Unfortunately, Finite that much more difficult with 2 kills of their own, and now Nyx, waiting to try and get a little bit of vengeance here, is able to shore that one up. But now in a 1v3 situation, you have to hope that there's a way that this could all come together, but the double swing from ODG is just going to be too much to handle, and a 7th round is going to go into Overdose's favor.
I kind of understand the decision to not bring out the showstopper. It was a safe round going on for Humber. Mind you, I hate timeouts before a save round, because what are you really gonna do on a save round besides hope that you do pop off, right? I would have liked to see that timeout happen here, where you actually have full weapons, you have a lot of ultimates to really stop and make a really huge impact, which, mind you, this has to be the round if Humber wants to stay alive, if they don't want to continue to go down the wrong path. The aggression from Drip, and Phoenix just goes down, the first one down for the squad. And that's already a big player down for them. They're going to have to play a little bit less aggressive and just hope that they can catch the rotation here. They know that there's going to be 2 onto this spawn site. And Drip says, we have a little bit of information. I think that should be good enough. Let me just back it up.
And I mean, the defensive side has to be at least happy that they were able to pick up a 2-for-1 and now are just able to kind of chill. The disadvantage is on the side of the attackers, and they just now have to wait and kind of hope that things fall into place for them, that they're able to play off of contact here and just really rely on ODG being forced into making a decision as a 3 remaining team, because it's going to take all 3 of them to be able to get onto any one of these sites. So stay just like a little bit spread, try to gather information where you can, and just work off of that. And so far, Jort is going to be the first to gather that information, throw out that dark cover, try to keep them at bay, but the pop flash from the scouting light is going to be good. Paranoia as well. Unfortunately, the shots just aren't there to line it up until they are actually coming from Teal, but Fang close and there to help out and get vengeance for that friend there. Unfortunately, Finite holding a close angle somehow manages to not get seen, picks up a 3K. Thankfully, Mikey, though, is able to salvage that win for the side of Humber.
If Mikey would have, I don't know what, I would have lost my sauce. Yeah, I would have been like, I'm out, brain's gone, out of this world. Yeah, comms there need to really come through for Humber here. I don't know if there was like a cry wolf like, yeah, site's clear, we're good. but like someone was definitely planting, and if the bomb isn't dropped somewhere, then that means yo, somebody's got the bomb, which means yo, somebody's on site who was trying to plant the bomb.
You want to play? Let's play.
But you know, whatever. Round 4 Humber here, and they still have 2 ultimates. There is a stack of ultimates though on these attackers, and the nullification's gonna come through as well as a flash. Showstopper gets invested nice and early and misses.
Holy smokes, that was so much utility from both sides and such a quick rotation from the defensive side. Already all 4 members in a slow rotation coming out from the Omen on Jort as well, trying to just figure out how they can try and combat this as quickly as possible. So far 1-for-1s as Lokes is able to pick off Mikey as well. Oh my gosh, the full turnaround does catch a kill before that teleport is able to complete, and DJ is a beast to get that kill onto Drip as well. Finally, it is all left up just to DJ in a 1v3, but Nyx, right place, right time, and we will be seeing a better half than we saw previously.
All right, it's a step in the right direction, and especially for morality. Humber really needed to know that they could. They could if they really, really desired it, and that's what we saw there. The showstopper, I'm forever going to be a showstopper hater, all right, chat? Don't come at me. What I'm not going to be a hater of is Jort. Jort came onto this team and is making a name for himself already on the leaderboard, 12-8-2, and just really, really gathers a lot of information for his team. We constantly see him jiggle peeking. We constantly see those smokes being thrown out. And what was a really huge movement by him that last round was the flank. Somehow, some way, did not get detected by that trademark and was able to infiltrate the backline of ODG and able to make an impact for his team. So really, really well done. Now, though, they have to really work on this pistol round.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, it's at a 7-5 half. If we see the side of Humber just be able to kind of bring in this pistol round, they should be able to shore up the next one, and all of a sudden we have an even match on our hands.
Teleport's ready.
It is very possible, especially Fang popping up with the free weapon, by the way.
We'd love to see that committed. I mean, that's almost more impressive, though. That Frenzy being able to connect for 2 headshots make it even more, as Mikey's able to take out DJ is a beast. Just this Jet remains with the Sheriff. And we're just trying to see, if we're Lokes, are we really committing to this? Are we really gonna try? I guess we can see if we can make something happen. But in a 1v4 situation, that Tailwind is gonna be queued up, but it's gonna be Mikey to pick up yet another 3K on yet another pistol round.
With Mikey, we stand, says the chat, because we talked about it, folks. We needed to see Mikey come alive, wake up, feel the vibe, and that is indeed what we're seeing here. As they're going to get this weapon advantage, they're looking to get onto this A site, and this might be the battle of the giants here, Becky, as we can see that full stack is happening onto the A site. And
oh my gosh, and that's where the bomb is heading to. This could be one of the ways that it would spell disaster for Humber on this buy up round. That fault line does come out. They're really waiting. They're just holding every single cross angle possible on this site and hoping to just get lucky. Unfortunately, they will be able to get lucky through that smoke. That extra little bit of audio cue coming out from that ultimate orb will give away Mikey. Just like that, first kill is definitely going over to ODG. Nyx gonna take enough shots to run out of that clip in the Spectre, switching over to this Headhunter, and hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit of rotation from the rest of the Humber squad now that they are kind of aware of the amount of damage that is coming out from Lokes with this Sheriff on this A site.
Nyx had a death wish, and I'm so glad that he got it, because you can only be stubborn for so long. Like, good for you, OGG, on getting that kill.
Jort, no, Jort! Okay, paranoia to come through. Unfortunately, that Tailwind ready to go. All right, Jort is not going to be able to pick up that one, but Drip will be able to. DJ is a beast, falling right into that trap. And now Finite also kind of on the prowl here, said, you know what? I like what y'all have been doing. I'm going to try and do the exact same thing here, Atil. And that KO from downtown, though Teal not being able to square up very nicely against these Spectres that Humber has brought to the table, and now a very split up remaining ODG squad does mean that Drip is able to pick up a third kill, and that kill onto Finite. Big Sus gonna be able to pick up one nice low flash to try and get some extra action. Shorty for a close shot does spell disaster for Drip, but thankfully Fang 6 HP finds the final kill, and we do get ourselves an even match.
I think we have a replay here. This might not be of that Shorty fiasco there going down. I don't know. Let's see here. We see Big Sus pushing through. Sky with the kill onto KO. Big Sus still making his way downtown. Has a Spectre in the back pocket. Runs out of the clip. Says, you know what? Yol it up. Ooh, gets one. But the second one, Fang got away with literally his fangs.
Oh my gosh. So through, and now more utility at the start of the round to make that much more difficult. That dog a little bit too low to the ground to be able to spot out Lokes hanging out on top of this garage area. Vandal in hand, the buy up around for the defensive side. Unfortunately, losing a teal that early is going to hurt just a little bit. But the force buy up to kind of match going into this round from the side of Humber when they were losing so many guns on that last round is going to kind of make this a really tense round where the economy is in the balance for both of these teams.
I've got your trail.
Right, Seekers get invested. It's going to be the position of 1. Make that 2. Make that 3.
Spike down A.
All right, nice little trade back and forth so far. Does put Humber College in an advantageous position. Nice little flash out of that smoke and pop out. Unfortunately, Finite only able to pick up one, and based on these 1-for-1 trades, but the advantageous situations that Humber has been able to find here does mean that it is a 3v1 situation for Lokes. But I mean, with the team as spread up as they possibly are, unfortunately that flashpoint making it that much harder. The dark cover to follow it up as well. There's just not a place where Lokes can find an angle to come on to this site, this A site. Just so difficult to retake for the defensive side. Able to find one, but there's not a great way to push on and try to get this round for the side of ODG.
You said economy trashed for both teams, yeah? So the fact that Lokes was able to keep one weapon is already a feels-good moment. Looking into these stats, kind of close to the Blade Storm. I mean, we can fight for 2 ore points. We can go for the A and the C if they really wanted to for the defenders, but I don't think so. I think they're just going to use that Vandal as a hero weapon. Hope that Lokes could get a little cheeky and get a weapon off of the hands of Humber. But Humber slowly establishing themselves as they finally get the first lead. Mind you, I think this is the first lead ever on this map. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's already a feels good. You know that you are able to lead. All you need to do is continue to lead and get the first picks. Unfortunately, that does not out. No. As the second kill does go down.
What beautiful utility usage from the defensive side. They have a lot of damage dealt, but if DJ is a beast is able to find these kills with this headhunter regardless, it is going to end up at an even
enemy remaining.
2v2. Absolutely not, actually, says Nyx. And now it is left once again just up to Lokes, who is in a 1v2 situation. A lot of damage onto Jort though. But I mean, we've talked about Nyx. Nyx was the MVP last week and certainly a player to watch and somebody who can turn it all on. And if they continue to play together like this, then Lokes is gonna have a lot of difficulty as the paranoia susses out where Lokes is. The shot through the box though is gonna make it an even 1v1. Oh, the reload does cancel the reload. All of a sudden says, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Nice little jump peeks here as well, but it's gonna be a battle for the headshots that Lokes is gonna come out victorious with.
Lokes, more like loco, am I right? Because that was freaking crazy. Oh no, mistakes were made and they were all made by Humber. I said they were establishing their lead, but not no more, as Lokes does build up that Blade Storm in his popping off 17-9 and 3. I mean, that is what you like to see on a duelist.
I mean, and we were a little bit apprehensive of Lokes going on to this Jet when previously we'd seen actually Big Sus on the Neon. And normally, Haven is a map where you would love to have a Neon. It started to be one of the go-to duelists for this map. So having this complete kind of switch around and still having it kind of go into ODG's favor just a little bit is actually so scary. Oh, all of the attention. All of the attention is on the Jet, and nobody is peeking that corner. Big Sus able to pick up a big 2 kills there, and now from downtown, Finite with this wraparound is going to be able to do a ton of damage and win that peek onto Strip, and a decisive defensive win.
That was an investment. A full-on investment by Humber. Not only did they, I don't want to say throw because that's such a mean word. Not only were there some mistakes the round before, but they also made another choice, which was to buy up the following round. And now they are down economy-wise. They're also like, oh man, this following round could potentially put them in double digits. And they can't really afford to give any leeway onto ODG because once they sink their teeth in, they're going to run with it home.
Yeah, DJ is forced a little bit back, but some nice sheriff shots coming out from the side of Humber is going to take down 2 members of the defensive side. That operator is out of the hands. Unfortunately, though, Big Sus still watching very closely. He is going to deploy those Seekers, and it's not going to be enough for that Bucky to get anything back. Damage to take out Nyx as well. A nice send from above from Lokes picks off 2. Unfortunately, though, a nice pick shell kill from Mikey, and a nice, once again, sheriff shot coming out from Fang. Now a 1v1 situation duel here. We are going to deploy the Rolling Thunder, and it does push the Omen so far away. Vandal for Vandal now. Fault line to come out as well. The onus is on Fang in this round to try and pick up that spike and get things really moving and win this 1v1. But this is a spooky place. That Omen is so hard to pinpoint the location of. And 8 bullets in the chamber. Scary to go for that reload and give your position away. And a Teal will win the patient game.
Teal, so beautifully done. The teleport to hell. Then just, hey, realizing that, well, my buddy said that he's short. Let me just go over to the bomb and secure it. And that was just how it's done. You white swing that, you make sure that you get that kill, and easy peasy, you bring us on to these double digits. And talk about feeling themselves. It's going to be ODG with the double operators. DJ is beast, and Lokes, you know, you can call me out, Becky. I said it wasn't a good idea for Lokes to be on Jet. Because it's such a huge difference of momentum. But I guess when you can just like pop off on the freaking Jet, you can and you will. And Nick says, pop off indeed. Aim on point.
Aim is on point, and especially for Humber, I mean, they previously were able to pick up 2 early kills in the last round, and it still didn't end up being enough, and it might end up being the same this time around, but maybe not if Nyx, the player that we've talked so much about, finally is deciding to own up to the words that we've been saying this whole time, and now it is left just to Lokes, who has this operator in hand, and in a 1v4 situation, I would like to believe is just going to go for a save of that fort. Oh, okay. Is gonna say, you know what? If I can't have it, nobody can have it. I'll give Nyx the 4K, but I won't give over the operator.
Which is a smart choice. We've seen Nyx on the operator.
Oh yeah,
it is crazy. And with that, we're gonna be getting a pause, a technical pause to be specific. For the side of Humber, I think Fang's internet is having some problemas. Sometimes internet go brr. Or it dies.
Yeah, sometimes it does the opposite of burr. It just goes bleh. I know mine does that sometimes too. Thank you. Shout out to Spectrum Internet. Anyway.
Oh, let's not even go there. Let's not even go there. Let's talk about the real juicy stuff, which is this 1-point lead that ODG has managed to obtain now, which could be a huge deal breaker as we get into these later rounds. What would you like for Humber to do in order to secure this map and take us to a third here, Becky?
This is so hard because even the rounds where it feels like they get an early 1 or 2 kills, it still ends up being kind of a like, if you don't kill the right 2 people, like everyone on ODG's squad has proven that they can clutch it up. They can reach into their pockets and pull out a trump card, and everything kind of ends up still falling into place for them. So it is really hard for me to pinpoint, like, it's not getting those early kills that is Humber's problem. It's getting every single kill that is Humber's problem. And I think sometimes they've been getting those first 2 kills and then they're like, oh, this is easy. The rest of the round, it's easy for us. They stop checking corners. They stop utilizing their utility in an intelligent manner. And they get maybe a little bit too cocky, and then it just slowly starts to edge into ODG's favor. They're able to kind of play into that. They're able to get those 1 or 2 lucky shots to even the score up, and then they just bring it back into their favor.
Oof. So just slow things down. I think that that's what has worked a lot too for Humber, is when they decide to really, really slow things down and look for those initial picks. As we know, ODG is a team that just screams aggression. They like to flank early. If they don't see anything, they're already going for that orb. They're already pushing out of garage. I would like a little bit more patience coming out from Humber as well, to just kind of, we see the teddy bear producer. By the way, what is it doing up there? I have ADHD, my dude, so you put something in front of my screen, my train of thought's gonna be like, late, we Audi 5000. But producer is not gonna take me away from my point. My point is, I want Humber to slow it down, get those initial picks, specifically Lokes and Big Sus. If you can kind of eliminate Lokes and Big Sus, those are the players right now that are really, really up top. Right, they're able to create that space for the team, and not only that, but secure the clutches like you were talking about before. So if you're able to take those 2 out and kind of play a little bit slower, short, and then you can get a kill, but then get traded off.
Yeah, but it is top frag for top frag in this situation. Jort for Lokes here, and Ultimate's down for both of those players. Unfortunately, the Bladestorm is probably a lot more impactful than the From the Shadows, so do with that information what you will. But we do still have a lot of ultimates ready for the defensive side, not like you need it if you're finite and you just have people fall into the palm of your hand, and so does the 11th round for ODG. Holy, please give me the replay. That was so fast, I don't even brain. I was just like, kills on the feed? Oh my gosh.
Okay, so they had a smoke, they had a dark cloud, and Drip says, yo, we got this, I'm gonna flash through. But Finite has the reflection of a Spider-Man and is able to like just turn away, reconnect, bam, 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 every shot on point. By the way, like the fact that he's able to hit all those shots, aiming routine must be on point, and so is this Trailblazer getting this information onto site. It lets him know there's no one near town. But invested correctly as Teal's position gets exposed.
And so are the attackers as well. Unfortunately, the paint shells will press the matter. Mikey able to pick that one up as well. Jort with a nice little peek around as well. Lokes with some vengeance is going to, all of a sudden with Finite picking off that kill onto Nyx, if you're used to the people on the attacking side just doing these strange lurks, you start to look for it every single round. And we can tell that the side of ODG is starting to get used to that. They're starting to get used to the side of Humber just going for these weird angles. It worked for them a few times, and now they just keep committing to it. But ODG is starting to become very privy to this knowledge and using it to their advantage, anticipating these movements, and that's why they're in this advantageous position once again and running Jort around the map.
Ooh, my producer gives back information, looking into the brain of Jort, says from the shadows, grab the bomb, put it down, bam, enough time to reposition, dark cover onto this CT to play a little bit of man games for these defenders. Gonna push on there. There's gonna be actually 2 of them. What they worry about.
Why did we peek it?
No, that is a question actually, Becky. But like, why the Fruit Loops is Finite's aim so crispy clean while he's running?
He's running! Oh my! What?
Match
is the
point.
match point for ODG.
Need a drop.
Yeah, all right, we'll give you that. Moving forward, we do see that operator in the hands of Loke says, actually, I'll give it down to my friend. DJ is a beast. Every time I say DJ is a beast, I think like DJ flexing. So I hope you're doing that, DJ. When you rewatch this and you hear us saying DJ is a beast, you better be flexing and take a picture and share with us because, anyways, yeah, that's train of thought. Big Sus has some ultimates as well as Finite, the nullification in case this aggression does come through. DJ is not flexing at this moment as that shot has missed.
Oh, Teal picks up a nice early one onto Nyx, that player that we have mentioned time and time again. Very important for the Humber squad. I have to amend a point. I understand why the peak happened previously. I do. I really do, because if there was two people running, you gotta be going for that peak. You gotta try and get the jump on the situation. Somebody's gonna be like, newscaster doesn't know what they're talking about. I get it. I really do. But also, I do kind of wish we would have just been patient. And it's easy for me to say that as somebody with the omnipotent knowledge of the X-ray vision, knowing that Lokes is up here, can see this many members of the attacking side. And just like that 5v2 situation, Drip has the bomb, but has low HP as well. And now that Jort is gone, the matter is pressed. A flawless round will finish ODG off in a victorious fashion. Cute Noob and I are wrong. Beautiful Crow is right. And the dub goes ODG's way.
At least we're still pretty.
That's true. We have that going. Beautiful Crow is very pretty too. I heard Beautiful Crow is like, what?
No. I meant like we have that to fall under. A beautiful crow is beautiful crow. Period.
Yes.
That looked like a dig. It was not a dig. I'm sorry, Crow.
You know what? That's totally fine. I'm just happy we got that on camera because holy crap, that was hilarious.
Crow is so cute. Thank you.
Gang. Overdose, gang. I'm gonna just read a few notes because I take notes in between games, like while I'm observing and whatnot. Number one here is just in all caps. I don't even remember typing this, but apparently I just put Lokes in all caps.
You did have some comment after the first game that we watched. I don't know what it was, but you just like called out the agent that Lokes was playing and you were like, is nuts. And I imagine that you made that note at that same point in the Discord chat. So you certainly were watching this player in that first game, and we're just watching Big Sus on the Neon being absolutely insane and speedy, Sonic, getting those rings, getting everything crazy. So, I mean, to see that kind of be a little flip-flop of Duelist and Initiator and then go into different Duelist and Initiator going into this next game for these two players and still having this omnipotent of a presence in this game is certainly something that is applause-worthy.
Oh my god, it was insane. And like one of the things I would really want to highlight, the change of styles and change of agents that they played from game 1 to game 2 for Overdose. Everyone that was like on the top of the ladder with the kills, death assists, and everything, they were more towards the bottom this time around. And it was basically a flip in who was doing great and who was putting up all the numbers. Something I wanted to like point out. And I'm like, you mean to tell me you could play 2 different games in a series, win them both off of the backs of all your players going completely nuclear? Like, I don't believe we have the match history.
That's good team play.
Right, it's such good team play. And like we said going into this, it's going to be a battle of the heavy hitters. It's going to be back and forth. Yes, it was a 2-0, but it was a very close 2-0. It got to a 7-7 tie. I don't remember the last time I watched a Valorant game that was an amateur series, at least, that got to any sort of tie, you know? And that was just really refreshing to see. And it speaks very well to why these two teams are at the in that top 3 position in their group.
Very true. And I mean, Humber definitely had a great showing last week. We sung their praises going into this game as well. I really thought that they were going to have us in I mean, it's a 9-13. That's a pretty close game, all things considered, and they certainly showed up very well, but I feel like we weren't seeing I don't wanna say we weren't seeing the same Nyx, but it felt like all of the tricks that Nyx and Mikey were trying to pull out from the last week, it just felt like ODG was prepared for them this time around. They either watched the last week's games, they were like, "Okay, Humber was on stream, we have their matches that we can watch, we can start to learn, especially on the map that they're gonna play." They at least maybe if they didn't watch the games, they certainly have played against a chamber who has tried to play like this before, came prepared, saw through it, and were able to just shut down Nyx at every corner that Nyx tried to make things happen on, and just did not allow for Nyx to pop off the same way that we saw last week.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Definitely not the same team that we have seen. And all giants must fall at some point. It's good that they fell here as opposed to falling in the playoffs, though, because they're still in the top three. Yes, they took that loss, but they're still top three, and there is still a chance for them to go into the playoffs. So this is you must take some losses to learn and be better. And I hope that this is their moment for Humbert to be like, yo, we're not that great. We might have thought we were that great. We were on that win streak, but we do have something to fix, and they get to rewatch this and fix it and don't take our criticisms too hard. By the way, Becky, I don't know if you get messages from players, but like they'll be in my DM saying like, you said X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, well, I was I wrong? Because like if I was wrong, my bad. But if I wasn't, like the shoe fit, honey, so you're wearing it, right?
Lace them up. Lace them up.
Anyways,
I must be scary or boring or one or the other. Nobody messages me.
I message
Look,
you all the time. So
You-
don't
you
worry,
do.
I'll
That's
share it
it.
with
Thank
you
you.
so we
Thank
can
you. Okay,
respond
perfect.
together.
Perfect.
There you
Disclaimer,
go.
this is not a PSA to jump in Becky and Q Noob's DM.
Yeah,
I know, yeah.
that's very true. That's very true.
But while we're talking the talk, make sure everybody in chat is voting for the MVP poll so we can go and get that out of the way. I know who I would pick because, like, I literally had star eyes for this person the entire game. But who would you two pick for MVP for this series? Becky, who you got in mind? You know, who really stood out to you? It could be from either team, honestly.
I actually think that I would probably say Finite. It was a player that I think, especially because Cute Noob was like, this is a player that I think has been top fragging on specifically like a breach. Okay, since Fate has come out and I've started to play initiators a lot, I've had a newfound appreciation for the people who are playing those heavy utility agents that are kind of just like being the bread that is holding the sandwich together. And I think that Finite definitely fits into that. Like, I think it's not probably going to go to Finite, but I have to shout out Finite, who played the Breach in the first game and the KO in the second game, had beautiful utility usage, was utilizing those flashes to the best of the abilities, and just kind of making it all really come together for the side of ODG, and is kind of a sub for ODG, but has shown up with very good KDAs and extremely great utility usage. The only thing I have to say, the KDA for Finite in this last game,
Oh, yeah.
18, 18, but get this, 18. 18 assists. 18 assists.
That's a lot.
If you want anything out of your initiator, it's 18 assists. And that is a whole lot of work that Finite was doing. Again, the MVP isn't going to go to Finite. I'm sorry, Finite, but you got me in your corner saying, good job.
Wait, I want to give someone a good job too, producer.
Go,
I
yes,
see you
no,
getting
go.
that transition. Don't you
Don't
dare!
you do it.
Don't you do it! Oh, you're so evil. You know what? I'm gonna cry over here. I'm crying. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. My producer loves to troll with us.
We love it also.
It's Eel, definitely also someone that, even though on paper isn't like shining top fragger, right? But it's I think it's also because me and you play Omen, and we know how complex Omen can be.
We can't say that on the Twitch. Never mind, I won't say that. But
oh, okay, yeah, let's not. Don't get us banned.
But we do like Omen very much.
Is very much. Definitely a character that requires a lot of patience, requires a lot of timing, and requires a lot of just high IQ. If you're an Omen player, you have like super massive IQ, 5 game knowledge.
We did see that ghost, that teleport spike pickup. I mean, That was pretty 500 IQ. I gotta agree with you there.
So,
All right.
yeah, just wanted to give a couple round of applauses there as well.
Shout
We
out to you.
see you. We appreciate you.
For
Keep
sure,
doing
for
you.
sure.
Now we can move on.
Now we can
move on. Yes, the crown MVP, the crown
the
prince
MVP.
himself, Big Lokes in that last game, 23-12-4. Like, you were talking about it. You want to see your duelist at the top of the table. We were giving him, it's like, I don't know if you should pick Jet. Should be too good. But oh my goodness, you look at that KDA and you're like, you know what? Never mind. Do what you
All
want.
right.
You're amazing. Here's
All right. Yeah.
and
Big
and I
Sis was
believe-
playing the Neon in the first one, but Lokes, yeah, go ahead. You can play
Yeah.
Jet.
right. And
Whatever.
who do you owe McFlurries to? Because
Oh no!
I love
because
McFlurries.
I think there was something at the beginning of this match.
Oh crap, we gotta
Oh,
watch the
man.
VOD back. What did I say I owed you McFlurries for? I almost assuredly do owe you all McFlurries for something, but you know what? I'm not even mad about it. I'm not even mad about it. Those were some great games to watch. Those are probably some of the best games that we've watched
Yeah.
on this show so far this season. Applauds to both teams. There was great utility usage from everybody, and ODG very well hard fought one.
Very sure, very absolutely 100% indeed. Any last words, Cute New, before I send us off for the night?
No, I'm pretty done. I hope y'all liked our casting. And yeah, have a good I'm sorry, my brain's gone.
Pride done, so I get it. Look, shout out to all the new followers on Twitch chat. Hit us up on Twitter as well, Victoris. You get in the Discord too. We talk everywhere. So look, this is week 6. That means we only have 3 more weeks till playoffs. It's getting real close. It's getting real close, and I'm excited to be there. I hope everyone else will join us back as well. Same time next week, same place. Stay up to date with all of us on social media as well. And from myself and the rest of the broadcast team, we wish y'all a good night. Peace.